All right, guys, welcome. This is a series that could finish Miguel. We'll see. This is Miguel's final rounds, but Miguel, we've looked at the numbers here, and we believe he needs a 3-0 and then some help with other results in order to stay alive in Titans League. Otherwise, he'll be getting relegated. Ganji, on the other hand, he has this series, and then he's got one more. This is not his final round. And Ganji's coming in here looking hot, man. He 3-0'd Kapotch. He got a win off of Jordan. He got a win off of Hera. So he's got 5 wins with this series against Miguel. And then a very interesting series against Kingston, because Miguel and Kingston and Ganji were the 3 players we're thinking that are going to be fighting to not get relegated. But now, with the way things sit right now, you have Kapotch at 5 wins. He's finished. He's played all his rounds. Ganji, he's at 5 wins with 2 more to go. So if Miguel wins 3-0, likely really bad for Kapotch. I think Kapotch has to just accept that Ganji's going to surpass him at this point and hope that Miguel and Kingston get smashed by Ganji. I think that's the way the group looks. Because you've got Hera, you've got Jordan, likely number 1 and number 2. Ganji would jump into that 3rd position, or maybe even 2nd with a lot of wins. And Kapotch is hoping to still be 4th. But yeah, so it'll be interesting because all these games matter for each player, but they also affect others. So there might have been some text messages from, from Kapotch going towards Ganji and is like, hey, stomp Miguel for me, thanks. And needing a 3-0 from Ganji is not really a great position to be in, says Stash. It's not. However, isn't it crazy, guys, that at the start we might have said Miguel's the favorite in that type of series. Miguel would win 2-1 or 3-0. Ganji has just looked so good and so consistent as a promoted player. He's proved the worth of this type of format. And so he actually comes in here as my favorite, and I think there'd be many other favorites as well. Map is Kilimanjaro. Usually you're seeing players take the shore fish here with a mill for an extra food boost. Something I'm sure Ganji will do later on. He has played as the Gujaras before. He had a crazy comeback victory against Kapotch. And I messaged Ganji after he won that series 3-0. I said, dude, well played. I'm good buddies with Ganji. I don't want to share all conversations I have with players because they won't talk to me anymore. But I was like, dude, well played. And I messaged him and I said, I was cracking up at the fact that after game 2 in that series, Kapotch said, good joke. So he was clearly tilted. And then you ended up Flemish revolutioning him in the final game, which would probably tilt him even more. And Ganji was like, oh yeah, bro. He's like, I knew he was mauling after game 1. So I just did everything I could to take advantage of that. Not a big fan of the lumber camp for Ganji. It's not that big a deal. You've got a lot of wood on these trees. But yeah, most likely Ganji's going to be going scouts here. Miguel picking humans. There's always that possibility of a second TC, but I think this is not going to be a second TC. And we have a pause now. And I'm going to tab out because we just had the game update right before this. And I need to know if there's issues. Hopefully the game isn't lagging or anything. I'm not seeing any messages from them or typing from them. So I'm just going to assume we're okay. Should be typing in the Discord if there was an issue here. So I'm going to assume maybe they're just fixing their chair or taking a sip of water or something. I don't know. Why does Ganji have berries underneath his TC? Is that a Gurjara's thing that I didn't realize? Yeah. It's a Gurjara's thing. Yeah, it's a big part of their start because you want to put, ideally, all the sheep you can inside your mills. And so that's specifically for the Gurjaras, and it allows them to get by with doing so. I wouldn't say it's fair to say that Kapotch struggles against the new kids. I think Kapotch just really...
Yes.
He had a really rough time in his sets in Titans League this year, getting ahead and then not being able to finish it off. Like Hera, he was ahead a game or 2. Jordan, he was ahead a game or 2. Ganji, he was ahead a game or 2. And then people could just pull off comebacks against him. And I think it's a relatable situation. It's like you have good strategy and you have good execution early, and then you just screw up once and then everything falls apart. It's so easy for that to happen to you in Age of Empires 2. But I wouldn't say it's fair to say that he struggles against the new kids. I mean, I think it was just struggling with execution. All right, so you can go for the second TC if you're Cumans. I think more than anything, Miguel, he's just going to take advantage of the cheaper stables and archery ranges that Cumans have. And he's going to go for scouts. I'm still not necessarily in love with the Cumans pick as a whole. They don't have any crazy bonuses in the mid game. I feel like your Jara's playing into stable units feels a little bit more secure for you. This gold for Ganji in the back is going to be really valuable. Miguel does have more exposed golds, but he also has his berries less exposed. So it depends on what you prefer there. And John, I've talked about this before. You always want to make the mill on the fish if you are not the Gurjaras, but you could take this later on with the Gurjaras. Because with other civilizations, you're not going to be able to achieve this fast of a feudal age while milling your berries in most cases. But the Gurjaras, because of the food income from the goats inside the mill, are still able to achieve that. And look at the food eco, right? So, yeah, obviously you do want to take this, but you don't actually need to take it at the start. Taking the berries at the start is just fine, and we've seen a lot of players do that. And, whoa, it is a second TC for Miguel. He needs a 3-0, and he's trying this. Oh, my word. And Ganji's going to see that. But here's the deal. He's trying to do so many different things at once. He's trying to go scouts, and he's going to need the food to produce villagers out of 2 TCs. So, with a flawless Cumin boom, you're going to keep your TCs working all the time. But you're not going to have a flawless boom now that you've invested all this wood here. However, you're going to have some scouts to compete for map control, and you're still going to have 2 TCs. Your gold's going to be protected. You're going to have an extra wood line. You're going to have the berries. Miguel's just stayed at home. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting game here for Ganji. But I think in Ganji's future, you've got to be thinking, we're going to make scouts here this game. We're going to try and kill what we can. But then, hopefully we have control, and we wander forward, and we siege workshop right here. This is the spot. Okay, I'm calling it now. Right here. That's going to be it, all right? Remember that. Siege Workshop's going to be, bam, right next to the trees. That's the goal, I think. But, of course, you now know you're on a little bit of a clock here if Miguel's able to produce out of all of his town centers. And Miguel's always liked the Cumans. I remember him picking the Cumans before in tournaments, playing very well with them. So, a gutsy play. I at least like the fact that Miguel has still made some scouts. But ultimately, like, I think you want to counterattack with the scouts right now. He doesn't really feel comfortable enough to do so. Second town center is up. But no horse collar. Late on farms, all this just because he made the stable. So it's pros and cons. It might not feel like that big of a deal for you guys. You're like, well, that's fine. I mean, it's not that big a deal, right? Every little bit can add up in this game, right? But I like this. You have the spearman here. Would like to see a wall off maybe for Miguel. And he does have a Vil lead right now. Ganji may be expecting that counterattack is waiting as he tries to get his walls down. And Miguel is through. But Miguel wisely leaves. I don't think you'd like to get trapped in there, especially with Ganji having the camel scout. Good job from Ganji to come home, though, because if he was still looking for damage and was only running into town center fire, and then Miguel killed a couple of villagers, it would have been a frustrating situation for him there. Yeah, Cumans do get Step Lancer. But keep an eye on the food banked and the Vil count. Those are the most important things right now. Ganji will want more and more food to head to Castle Age, and then normally you have to kill the Cumans before their additional villagers pay off. Even just stopping the forward Vil that will eventually come in most cases can be really nice in these situations. Miguel needs to win 3-0 here. But I think, like, Miguel's not going to be happy with his current position in Titans League. And sure, he's not going to be happy that he needs a 3-0. But he's confident against a player like Ganji. Like, Miguel's been around for a super long time. I think Miguel, he can struggle with confidence against players that he's lost to a lot in the past, right? Like Jordan, Hera. He did get that win off of Jordan, obviously. But, like, could have easily taken the game off of Hera, too. Just didn't play confident. I think that here against Ganji, he's like, you know what? I can do it. And also the other thing is, as brutal as this sounds towards Ganji, if you don't beat a promoted player, you don't deserve to stay alive, right? That's just the reality of the situation. And so he will view it as that as well. 38 villagers. Ganji's scouts looking to flee now. And Ganji's going to click up now. Has finished his shorefish. He is now on the way to Castle Age. But can he kill Miguel? So what a lot of players do with the humans, I should say the players that have the most success with humans, is they don't actually wait for the food to rise naturally to get to the next stage. Is they will instead use the market. Yeah. Nice job, Miguel. So they'll get the villager lead, and then they're just going to buy a couple hundred food just to give them an extra spike. Because this is their weak point, the fact that they're going to be so deep in feudal age. And I think an underrated play, too, I've talked about it, is actually stopping vill production. Not yet, but maybe stopping vill production once you're at like 50, 55, just for a minute. And using the market as well, I think you can be in a good spot. And actually, I was very wrong on the Siege Workshop. Ganji's not going to do that. I think Ganji's going to go 3 TCs, actually. There's Miguel. He sells the stone and buys some food. This is a really good play for Miguel. It's the perfect play if you're going to be rushed. You're still going to have a TC producing villagers while you're on the way to Castle Age. Your economy's still going to be crazy. And wow, this is a really good uptime for Miguel. Holy. Okay, well, you have 2 options against the humans. You try and go 3 TCs while they're in feudal and catch up, or you stay 1 TC and you go full aggression. Excuse me. It's not going to be full aggression. Spearmen are poking each other here. Miguel's spearman has more HP. Poke, 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 poke. More pokes. And poke. Spearman wins. Great content. Gotta love it. Everyone's happy. TC here for Miguel. Not Miguel, sorry. Ganji on the gold. And a TC in the back on the woodline and the stone. Good TC spots. Also, rushing is wood and farm upgrade. But normally what happens here is the human player will be floating so much food at so much gold, so they're in a position to really push the map. So I would say it's still kind of an uneasy feeling for Ganji. I mean, he's going to, in best case scenario, be even with Miguel and Vils, but I think most likely still behind Miguel and Vils for a bit, and then he's not going to have a ton of map control. I like the idea of adding 1 Shravamsha rider, adding the scout, like just look around for relics, other golds. The Shravamshas can be really annoying and kill a vill or 2. He's not committing to any upgrades on this either. Great play here, using the speed of the Shravamsha. And Miguel will be annoyed by this. The Shravamsha riders are one of the more annoying units to deal with in this game. It's frustrating. And Miguel's just going to add a couple camels to defend from that. And also Miguel's leaving, and I think he wants a TC over here. Has he scouted this area? Not really. Not really at all. Like, maybe a TC here would be interesting. Shravamsha rider attacking. Camel there. Villager's going to die. Yep, villager dies. So 2 villagers killed this game. TC for Miguel. Not in love with that TC, but it's not horrible. He does want more town centers, and he does want more map coverage. But, you know, Ganji's got some good eco flow right now, especially with those eco upgrades. Really good job from him against the humans here. Also, kind of trickling in some stone. Starting to make outposts around the map, and this is such an underrated move. Players don't do this as much as they should. I love this. That's so valuable on this map. And what is 1 villager building outpost of 50, right? Like, that's not going to make... Even if you lose the villager, it doesn't really make that big of an impact. And so it seems to me like Ganji's trying to gauge how much army we're going to have from Miguel. Clearly sees camels. That's something he can compete against right now. But he's got monks waiting, and he's got his own camels, and he wants conversions. Miguel now hears the Wololos, and so Miguel needs to respect it and back away for now. But 3 TCs for both players. Miguel really is going to need more wood soon, which makes this TC all the more important. And I really wish Ganji would convert this Spearman or something. It's bothering me. Humans don't get heavy camel, by the way. So it's kind of a... There's a couple things with humans that becomes more awkward the longer the game goes. Wow! Those camels just ate the Sravamshas. But they don't really get the best range units. They don't get heavy camels. So normally it's knights and pikemen. Behind really good economy, of course. 69 villagers. Nice for Miguel, who needs to win. Has to win every single game to have a chance. Again, if you want max drama in this group, you want to see Miguel win this 3-0. And then Ganji's crazy final series has to be victories against Kingston. Kingston also needs victories against Ganji. I mean, so much has to happen. Oh, that's great work here from Miguel. Knows the monks are out there. Oh, the monk doesn't die. That's got to be slightly disappointing. Both players on stone now. And it is monks and camels from Ganji. I like the mix, and I like the second monastery too. He was super crazy with his monk control against Kapluch. Why isn't Miguel pushing since he has better eco? What's he supposed to push? If he dives in, he loses 3 camels, and he loses the fight. Ganji did a good job adding the proper army. So Miguel's, they're thinking about late game and positioning. Now they're just like, great move here from Ganji. I guess he'll lose the villager anyways. Maybe not. I mean, maybe he loses the vill, but he gets a kill because of it. But here you have the camel moving in. Miguel trying to find out where Ganji's going and has to delete the camel. Was a great move there to delete the camel. And we have TC number 4 now for Ganji up here on top of the hill. And so it's a camel war, guys. And that's a gather point issue for Miguel. He had his rally points out there for a while. Miguel will get relic number 2. He's adding more stables, and we're going to see more camels. And remember, Gujaras don't get pikemen. So that seems like a natural switch for either player in these types of situations. 17 camels for Miguel, but he doesn't have the monk numbers, and he also doesn't have the positioning on the hill. Ganji's been using monks really well in Titans League. He's been using monks more than the majority of the platinum players. And monks have been bigger talking point every single year in Age of Empires 2, whether that be healing, whether that be conversions. Converting monks you see more, right? I'd like to see one upgrade at least for Ganji. You got to get one, dude. You're behind so many upgrades. I think that's why Miguel's maybe taking the fight, because he sees the upgrades. But look what monks can do. Will the monks be enough, actually? Uh-oh. Miguel has the upgrades. He's got bloodlines, he has attack, and he has armor. These monks, they need to back away quickly to that town center. And we even have atonement for Ganji. Gets another conversion, falling back to his TC. He just wants to protect his monks back to the TC and then run. Really well played from Ganji there. But again, you gotta at least get bloodlines, right? You need to at least have 20 extra HP in these fights. Got 1700 HP of camels. Delete, okay. And then, monks get shot. And then you've got 1300 HP of camels here. Also, no sanctity for Miguel, so his monk's very weak. Lost 1 already because of that. This guy's somehow still alive. I doubt he'll survive much longer, though. What? How's that guy alive? A pebble should be killing him. All right, well, he got all the rocks to the face. Both players here, they want to push the middle area, and they want a castle here. It's such an important position, and Ganji has passed Miguel in villagers. But Ganji, he might have more monks, but he doesn't have that many more monks. Look at all the camels for Miguel. Miguel's going to take the fight. Redemption also, I think, was researched by Ganji. It's just the difference of monks, man. It's a difference of monks. They also heal, right? Miguel feels like he has to take the fight because of the upgrades, and I agree. This is the best fight you get, and this is a good move. Use your siege against Ganji's monks. Let's see how important those upgrades are and how important the monk numbers were. Miguel, he's got the numbers. And he's going to YOLO the villagers in here. What a great fight for him. I think if these 2 upgrades would have been in, that fight might have gone differently. But Ganji had opted for monks and focused on monks. And now it's panic time for the Swede. Oh, man, he's like house walling around his TC because he knows he needs to complete this castle because here comes Miguel. Miguel is going to complete this castle, guys. Ganji will not complete his castle. And again, if you want drama, if you want Miguel victories, Miguel's going to start off the series with a victory here for sure. I mean, this castle, even if it goes up, could just be rammed down. There's no army control here. Maybe I shouldn't freak out just yet. The population's close. There is still a TC covering this gold, so it's not like Miguel can easily take it. Great job with Miguel, from Miguel to get the numbers up. He has so many stables at home. And to just time that fight to perfection there. It was very well played. And now he just needs to focus all of his attention here. Just stop this castle from going up, or just ram it down. And you should, in most cases, continue to add camels too. Also, the fletching upgrade for Miguel, so good. How many times do we see people not get fletching when they have a castle? Way too frequently is the answer to that. I don't know why people don't get fletching for their castles, man. But in the moment, they don't think about those things, right? Okay, Ganji still taking so many losses. He sunk so much gold into all of this. Look at Miguel confidently farming next to this, too. Oh, God. Villagers continue to die. Even if the castle completes, it'll already be halfway down. It'll be on fire. And it's capped ram, too. Power the Cumans. Capped ram and Castle Age. Let's go. I don't know. You almost need to pull your vills out of the castle and batter these rams down to have any chance, but that's just not going to happen here. 21 villagers killed by Miguel this game. Crazy economy behind us with 42 on food. Great map control. 2 relics in the bank. Could maybe make another castle soon. And I think it's snowballed too hard on Ganji here. Not sure he's going to be able to get it back. He's got so much eco right below this hill. It just continues to be pressured nonstop, right? I've said this before, but I think it'd be really cool if we could have... I guess what I would have to do is I would have to almost plan it out with players. But let's say we have this game, right? And then that fight happens, and then Miguel wins it. Then I'd say, okay, pause. No, the game finishes, and then I say, okay, we're going to go back to that exact moment. And Ganji, I want you to play it out differently. I want you to get those 2 upgrades. Go. I want to know what would happen in those scenarios, right? And it would also be kind of cool because players would get to think, oh, what went wrong for me to lose that game? What can I change this time, you know? Oh, man. This castle, though. Miguel, castle on the gold. Oh, man. Ganji wanted another castle to keep himself in the game. This one could be denied. Oh, no! Rip. All right. Well, continues to be painful here. There will be pikemen in the middle of the map for Miguel. And we could even see rams come over here, too. I'm not sure about leaving your vills here if you're Miguel. It probably will notice this. Ganji will complete this castle. Why did Ganji not go siege pressure? It has worked for him a lot in the tourney. Seems like it would have been the way to go. I think... Like, yes, okay, so Ganji went all in with siege before when he fell behind against Capwatch. I think Ganji played this game really well. Like, this is a 50-50 game that honestly just came down to the difference of approaches. You had Miguel opting for more stables and higher camel production. And then Ganji opted for the monks. And I think Monk Camel could have definitely worked there. They were both building up for a castle at the same time. So this is a 50-50 game for so long. So I think he played well enough where I can't really question his decision to not go YOLO. He's still in this game, by the way. Like, he's counterattacking Miguel right now. The guy doesn't really have access to a lot of gold. That's the concern for him. He doesn't see the gold down here, and he needs to take a look for it. But at least he's counterattacking. But yeah, I mean, if he tried to catch up in the boom and just did a horrible job at it, Duve, I think I'd be questioning it as well. I think he's played this game really well, and Miguel just matched him or slightly has outperformed him, and now Miguel's on the way to Imp with great castle control. Miguel's going to probably raid as well. If I'm Miguel, I leave 1 light cav on that gold. And I also would maybe outpost over here just to stop Ganji from expanding elsewhere. Miguel clears up the raids. We have a lot of selling at the market for Ganji, but the prices aren't that good. And we have an attempt, keyword attempt, to push back this castle. It's an all-in Castle Age attempt. with these armored elephants. And you've got chakrams, you've got Shrivamshas, you've got monks. I mean, you've got all these things that the Gujaras want to have. But you need the hill, you need the gold, and Miguel's just going to drop another castle here. And those villagers are just passing. Those villagers will end up dying. I think if Miguel just completes this castle and continues to make pikes and light cap, he will win this game. He doesn't actually need gold units right now. He's got such good control. Oh, and the light cap in the back, too. Great job, Miguel. I don't even know if this will be a GG in Imp. I think Ganji could call it any moment now. His population's pretty high, though. It's every game matters, and he's had some wild comebacks as well, so I could see him maybe continuing, hoping he could find gold. Like here he's found gold, so that's a good find. But yeah, if he doesn't call it before Imp, I think when Imp is in, he's going to realize that he's in a tough position here. Especially because Miguel has found things like this. Miguel finding all of this is huge. Again, Miguel just needs to look elsewhere. I think he's actually sending kip checks for this gold. I think a few outposts would have been really helpful. A great first game. You don't normally see games go on this long on this map. Imp on Kilimanjaro is very rare. Miguel's still checking, thinking about the sides. Ganji's still fighting. He's building up armored elephants again. This is going to maybe be his final go to try and push the castles back. He's got a lot of army here, and the chakrams are really good against infantry. But it seems like there's just not enough armored elephants here, right? Also, Miguel has ballistics, and he has bodkin arrow, so his castles are extremely helpful in these scenarios. Miguel found the villagers here, dropping a castle on that gold. Miguel even found villagers here on the wood line. That'll add up over time. Miguel also could make a treb to take this out. He's got a treb here, going for the relics right now. Yeah, that's a fair point. Gurjaras can do crazy things, but Gurjaras can't really do crazy things without golds, right? It's very hard to mount comebacks without golds. Most comebacks happen when the Castle Age player has more gold control, and then the Imp player suddenly can't make a better unit, right? Or in a numbers situation. And unfortunately, Miguel's got the numbers. I'm still waiting for this castle to go down. It's getting shot down slowly, but I feel like that should be a priority. And Ganji's raiding the right side a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of red dots all around. But yeah, Ganji calls the GG. Honestly, pretty crazy, right? 82 total camels created, 66 total camels. It was when the camels were created, and it was the upgrades at that time. You go back to that fight. When was it? It wasn't here. It was right around here. Let's go back to that fight real quick. I just want to look at it and try and gather who wins it. Okay, right here. So we have, granted, Ganji doesn't have these camels in the fight, but I'm going to count those, okay? So we've got Ganji with, I guess we'll just group up everything. It should show 21 camels versus 27. But Miguel doesn't have monks here. So I think if Ganji has armor or attack and bloodlines. So like 2 upgrades. Armor, bloodlines. Keep in mind, Miguel's got 3 upgrades. He has bloodlines, which is, I think, one of the biggest ones. And then he's got attack, then he's got armor. I think that this fight goes much differently. Because it wasn't really even close. And in those numbers, with the conversions coming in, it should be closer. And it's just the saddest thing ever, right? The upgrades were on the way. So Miguel timed the fight. I think Miguel would never have pushed that fight if the upgrades were equal. But he was like, ooh, this is my moment. And he took full advantage there. Miguel gets a very important win to keep himself alive in Titans League. And it was a good first game, right? Certainly one that Ganji's going to be kicking himself for. But I think his approach was pretty sound otherwise. I kind of want to get into this. Don't make fun of me. But I kind of want to get into Legos. Like, I really want to build something with my hands. I don't know what it is, but I just have this desire to just construct something. Like my grandfather and my dad, for example, had like a wood shop. And they would just like make tables and chairs. They wouldn't even use the tables and chairs, but they just make stuff. That was their thing. And I don't think I want to do a wood shop or anything along those lines at this stage of my life. But like, I have this desire to just construct something and do something with my hands. So I told my fiance that she got me a gigantic Lego set. It is like, when it's fully built, it'll be like 4 feet wide and 2 feet tall. It is the Manchester United Stadium, actually. Massive, like 15,000 piece set. And so one of these days I'm going to get started on that. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. So, yeah. Anyways, so let's introduce this game and we could talk more about that stuff. So Miguel's playing as the Bohemians. And we've seen this matchup on Arena. It's been a very long time since we've seen this matchup on Fortified Clearing. And I was just saying that I actually did a practice series with Ganji like last month. And he played Poles. That seemed to be his preferred pick. And I was Burgundians at that time. And his late game play is so good. His late game play is actually incredible. So I think the longer this game goes, the better it is for him with the Winged Hussar raids. And Bohemians in general, they are a bit slower, and it's going to be more about pushing the middle than anything. I think Bohemians are a little bit out of Miguel's comfort zone. He would normally prefer to be the civilization spamming cavalry, so I wouldn't expect perfection when it comes to the Bohemian build. But it still can be very strong. Their halbs do more bonus damage versus cav, plus the Polish cav don't get full upgrades. So there's definitely some crazy timings for Miguel, and I think the peak composition of Halb Gunpowder Hufnitsa works much better in this game or in this matchup than it would against Turks or Burgundians, which are other civs you see. Anyways, we'll see how this build looks. We're just chilling out and talking and answering questions in the meantime. Lego stream coming? No, I'm not gonna stream myself doing Legos. I don't even know when I'll get around to doing it, to be honest. Because it'll be crazy Titans League action up until I'm on a trip with friends in mid-February. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I do not have a lot of balance. I should have more balance in my life. But I love doing what I do so much, and there's so many people out there who like to watch this, so... Oh, God, Ganji just killed that sheep. Don't you hate it when one villager just doesn't want to be a part of the group? T90, is there any other way to support you than going through Facebook? Your best way is going to be Patreon. Patreon gives... So Facebook, if you subscribe here, 100% goes towards me, which is very rare, right? But I understand some people might not want to do that. So if you find my Patreon page, that's the best way. I forget the split. I think like 85% or 90% goes towards the creator on Patreon. So Patreon in general is super good towards the creator. And you can also customize the amount, right? So like if you're a billionaire and you want to be like, oh, let's give T90 $250,000 a month. If you want to be that guy, first off, I'd be very uncomfortable. That's weird. Anyways, you know, if you were Jeff Bezos and you wanted to give me up $10 million a month, you could do that and customize it. Or, you know, if you're like, well, you know, I don't have a lot of extra funds, but I want to contribute and I want to do $2.25, you could do that too. So that's the beauty of it as well, is you have to kind of have the customization there, whereas subscribing on a platform is usually a set amount. So I would check that out. Scouts fighting here, always so important on these maps where you fight for relics. And Miguel's losing the fight. And he's also pretty far away from home here too, so could be awkward. Ganji not allowing Miguel to get to the hill. He's kind of guarding it. But there will be more hills over here. Yeah, all good, Eric. You do have the option of buying merch too if you really want something, right? So like if you want to pay money and not just have me be like thank you or just know that you're supporting the creator, merch is a good way too if you want to actually get something back from it. I don't do Patreon rewards though. In the past I did. So if you go to that page, there's going to be a couple posts, but like I'm too busy and doing so many different things. It's just another means to support. So actually, guys, with the scouts being weak, you could justify not walling. Like, that's something that the really confident players do. Like, that's something Viper would do. He'd be like, hey, I'm not going to wall because that scout's weak. There's no way I should lose a Vil. And that means your economy could be slightly stronger. Also, gotta question this. Like, I know Miguel didn't scout it, but you know the edge of the map is there. Even without knowing that there's a tiny choke point, even if that's fully open, you could just get a much easier wall this way. Right? So that's some wasted villager time and resources there for Miguel. And he is going to wall up this side. So again, he scouted it. He uses the edge of the map to his advantage. This wall just looks weird. Weird and unnecessary, but in the moment, you don't realize that, right? Isn't another benefit of walling preventing the scout from seeing stuff in your base? They can still do that while weak. Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. But I think you're not walling here to stop them from scouting something, because I think it's pretty assumed well, it's not assumed what will happen in all cases, but you don't think that as a player. You're just thinking you don't want to be rushed or have any issues on the sides. It's never bad to wall, but if you want to get an edge and have a stronger economy, which can lead to more advantages, you could just delay the walls, right? So, like, have this be your market blacksmith, for example. That's what some players have done. So the villagers stay at home, and then you pull them over, boom, market blacksmith. Okay, Ganji. He doesn't have the resources to click up here. He's going to probably go stable market. That's what I've seen a lot with the polls. Over here, we've got the market. And there's a stable right in front of the TC. Man, I love the polls. Like, polls, I still think, like, some aspects of them a bit imbalanced, a little too crazy. I know people love the polls, and for good reason. Both scouts are one hit away from going down here. But in terms of how you play the Civ and how creative they are, what a cool Civ design, man. The farming around the full work aspect, super fun. And that alone just means that players are going to build up their bases like this. They don't want to farm around their TCs, so they build the other buildings around their TCs. It just looks so fun. Looks so cool. So, eco upgrades should be flying in over time. We have a stone gate for Ganji. Whoa, stone? I mean, I know you're bringing in the stone, but still a little surprised at using stone for that. He's actually sending his weak scout to the left side. There's 2 relics over here. There's 2 relics over here. He has scouted the 2 on the right side. Hasn't really scouted much towards the middle yet. Also stone gating with some houses on the other side. Again, Miguel is in stay alive mode. I think he is statistically unlikely to stay alive if he does not win 3-0 here. Because if he wins 2-1, let's say... I mean, if he loses the series, he's definitely done. But if he wins 2-1, he's then tied with Capwatch. Town Bell! Miguel! Miguel, Town Bell, kind of rhymes. But yeah, if he gets a 5, he's going to lose to Capwatch in the tiebreaker, so he's below Capwatch. And then also, Ganji is going to be ahead of Capwatch. So, yeah. Miguel needs a 3-0 to have any chance. And he could still 3-0 and not save himself. That'll depend on other results. See, I can make fun of the Town Bell thing now because I actually removed my Town Bell hotkey this past year. I used to accidentally click it as well. I finally removed the hotkey, so I don't do that anymore. There's so many pros that still use B for builds from the old days, which is the majority of them, still have the Town Bell hotkey. Like, Doubt does it. Doubt, and then Backed. It's pretty funny. I just removed the hotkey so I don't accidentally click it because I have no reason for the Town Bell. I don't have a Stone Gate hotkey. I have a Palisade hotkey, but I don't have a Stone Gate hotkey memorized. But I did change my Palisade hotkey from BP, which is super, super inconvenient if you think about where the P is located on the keyboard, to BR recently. And I thought it would take me a long time to get used to that, but it did not take a long time at all. So switching up some hotkeys is always good. Make life more convenient for you once you get a grasp of how hotkeys work for you. Miguel is just going straight for the TCs, guys. He's not at a stable or a barracks. He's on 3 TCs already, so he will have a villager lead. And he's going to aim to try and get some relics on the side, it looks like, before any light cav find him. So Ganji should have a relic advantage. However, Ganji is going to be late for the town centers. I like the approach from Miguel, though, honestly. Because relics are good long-term, right? But pulls are probably better long-term anyways. So give them the relics. Sure, they have the relics for a while. Get as much as you can, and then try and kill them before it matters. And where does everyone make their monastery? Boom. Right here on the front. So if you pressuring the middle anyways, you might be able to get those relics. Or at the very least, some of that extra stone and gold. I don't think this is a bad approach at all. I think it is awfully quiet in the middle right now for Ganji, so I think he should be sending light cav to the sides. Like one light cav on each side should be happening now. We'll see. Will you still be sending out a postcard when you hit 100 patrons on Patreon? Oh, did I? I remember saying that. I completely forgot about that until now. Honestly, I'd need to think about that because I haven't, I forgot about that until this very moment. But that sounds pretty cool. I don't know, maybe. I have a fair amount of people who support on Patreon. There also is a Discord room specifically for those people. So if you wanted to, like, you know, send messages to the exclusive crew or just get, like, easier responses from me, you can do it there. But again, it's mainly a means to just support in a way that you can customize if you don't want to subscribe on a streaming platform or whatever. Oh, Lightcav finds a villager. Miguel, pretty speedy Vill here. And she did. That Lightcav could be really annoying as well if it were to run in there. I think Ganji might take that opportunity. Ganji only... Does he seriously have 0 relics? He's going to get 1. He's going to get 2. Did he take none from the middle? Like, I know you're going to eventually get these relics. But I think you want to have them for gold income too, right? Lightcav did run in, by the way. Let's look at resources collected. That's pretty crazy, though, man. It's honestly just because he's collected so much stone and got gold income from that. Lightcav died while I was showing you that. And Miguel probably just wants to drop a house here. Miguel only got 1 relic. Hasn't moved out with his next monk. Is dropping archery ranges. And is completing chemistry. So he wants to push the middle with a couple hand cannons. An approach that's being seen more and more. And you can kind of see the plan, right? He's already going to stone too. So he wants hand cannons for map control into a forward castle into Imperial Age. And then Ganji's going to wall the sides. But honestly, I think your approach is you kind of want to use the sides, right? You want to be a player doing that. But obviously, you walling that doesn't take away that possibility. And chemistry is now in for Miguel. 9 relics on the map. Ganji could have 8 of them. Crazy. Andy's pulls and brings in so much gold from his stone mining. Plus, the stone mining helps. Plus, you get the food boost from the farms. But I just realized he doesn't even have his Castle Age farm upgrade. That's painful. The boost should be much greater than it is right now. And oh, look at the game sense here from Ganji. So he sees... It's not necessarily game sense. It's reacting to what he sees. He saw the hand cannons. And he immediately makes a monastery in the back. And he's going to start shifting his relics. Also, I think he's going to drop a castle in his base before this gets out of hand. This old man's going to get shot in the back. You don't even have the courage to shoot me in my face. All right, sad times. And is Miguel going to go siege tower? That's what people... Oh, he knows. They're learning, guys. Miguel's doing what Jordan and what ACCM have been trying. Hand cannons into a siege tower. Also, I think there's a very good chance that Miguel is trained, particularly with ACCM. Remember, Jordan's also in Miguel's group, so maybe he saw those games, watched the recorded games. But Ganji's clearly in the same group too, right? So he should know. And let's see where Miguel goes. Miguel saw the castle. Guys, it'd be so funny. Ganji, finish these walls. If Miguel goes over this side, he'd be trapped. More walling. It's going to be kind of awkward for Miguel to find the right spot here. Now, Miguel still sees a castle. He could still drop his own castle, and then he could eventually treb this down. So this isn't necessarily horrible for him, but it's entertaining, right? Also, this villager could play a role later on. Past Ganji's walls. Let's go! It's siege tower hype! The enemy never expects it! Don't know. Man, this thing is slow. I don't feel like singing anymore. Come on. Oh no. He doesn't know. He thinks he... No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, there's a hole. He didn't wall it. No, Ganji. Oh, I thought he would have walled it by now. Oh, he had the right idea. He's probably like, what? He doesn't know yet. He actually does not know yet. And now he reacts, and he's probably like, oh, God. Dang, man. I mean, Miguel had a good strategy to try and siege tower. Ganji had a good strategy to wall it, but he just didn't finish those 2 tiles. And he didn't notice, and now he's under pressure. Miguel's dropping a castle in the middle of the map. Ganji's going to try and use monks right now. Everything he can to just convert hand cannons. I mean, the TC fire helps. The hand cannons got value, though, right? Like, this is certainly more than worth it. You also have killed a lot of monks now, too. Guys, I think Miguel's in the driver's seat to win this game. I think you go Halb, Treb, bombard cannons, and I don't think there's any way Ganji can stop it. Yeah, the cav is cheap with this civ, but you're still going to be playing directly into Halberdier from Bohemians with extra bonus damage. It should be insanely strong, as long as Miguel prioritizes Halbs over hand cannons from this stage. He's got no crazy reason to continue to make gunpowder. Of course, he doesn't exactly know, but he could see 2 stables, so he should know. And Paul says I'm still on old hotkeys. Should I switch? No. My hotkeys are old. Hotkeys are a preference thing. It's just in the event that there's inconvenient hotkeys, like for me, building Palisade, when I try and quick wall, I'd have to go B and then use my left hand to go P all the way on the right side of the keyboard. That is massively inconvenient. But use hotkeys that are comfortable for you. It's fine if they're the ones you started with. The old hotkeys are fine. Majority of pros don't use the DE hotkeys, but from what I know, the DE hotkeys are going to be way more convenient. You pee on your keyboard? Travamsha, get out of here, all right? You know what I said. 2 people with the same joke. You guys are insane. Ganji's going to think about using the sides. We'll kill that villager from Miguel who wants to wall the sides. And Halb is now in. Is he gonna siege tower again? Over the walls? No, it doesn't seem like it. I like how he made 1 trap and the rest are bomber cannons so we can get conscription. Conscription is super helpful. And aha, he will siege tower over. Now he's got Halbs in. There's also still 3 relics there for Ganji. Ganji hoping to pressure somewhere. Not really doing much. Miguel should stonewall here. Honestly, don't even worry about the rest of it, Miguel. Just stonewall this and stonewall this. Just make sure that this won't get out of hand. And obviously pressure. And I actually think instead of Hufnitsa, I just think full Halb upgrades is important. I would rather combine hand cannons with my Halbs than I would get the Hufnitsa upgrade here. You don't need that. You just need this army to get max value. And here come the villagers building a castle. Here come the Trebs and the bombard cannons. Here come the Halbs. And like I said, if you want max drama in this group, you want Miguel to get a 3-0. It looks like he's in a perfect spot to be able to go up 2-0. Can the Brazilians stay alive? He needed a 2-1 or a 3-0 in his final round against Jordan. I remember that in the first season. And he got 2-1 to keep himself alive. Ganji's falling apart here. He does have the night spam in the back of his base, so he is massing, but he's kind of stuck. Also, his imp TC is this one. Thank God he chose that one instead of this TC or this TC. I think Ganji's super dead. even with getting all those relics. Now he's lost 3 of them. Miguel can just take them and say, thanks for putting them all in the same spot for me, right? Honestly, could have lost this MTC as well, Ganji. It's still really close. If the Trebs would have been firing on that. Look at this. This is so close. He makes it to Imp, though. Just barely. And now he's going to upgrade to Cavalier. And he has to hope that the Cavalier numbers are enough. Now, people talk about the expansion on this map. And yeah, that's great. Also, great job from Miguel to pressure the right. That's a great option for you. However, you have to expand farms with Pulse. That's not easy. Expanding eco in general, you could save the villagers, but it's not actually a great thing to have to run with them in the first place. Because they're not going to collect resources in the same way as if they were just sitting in your base. Miguel's got hand cannons. He's got halberdier. This is the comp that he might want. And Ganji's still waiting for Imp upgrades, which would be Blast Furnace and then Cavalier. I'd like to see Miguel, don't even get too crazy with it. Just drop your next castle here. It's fine. Don't go as forward as you did. Just drop it in the choke. It's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. And queue up halbs on halbs on halbs and hope for the best here with this fight. Fight's being taken before Cavalier, before Blast Furnace. Those are going to come in mid-fight. I think even if it was in, this army composition from Miguel just eats Cavalier. Just eats it up. 50 army for Miguel. Some of that is obviously on the right side, where Ganji had started to expand his eco. And the left side, look, Ganji places more farms, and then he looks back at his base, and he's losing everything, right? And Ganji calls the GG. Dang. Yeah, so, I mean, Siege Tower should not have been as effective as it was in this game. I think Ganji will be kicking himself. It did a lot of damage. He had lots of farms, gold, and everything. And that delayed him when he was already really going to have to brace himself. But I think Miguel just stuck to the game plan and said, I don't need relics. Like, how many times do we see people commit to the relics with Bohemians? Just stop doing it. Just stop doing it. In this matchup, sure, give the opponent the relics. Just push an early Imp. And the pulls are great in the long run. They save so many resources, but obviously if you lose to your entire eco, you're going to be in trouble, and that's precisely what happened here for Ganji. Ganji actually had more villagers at the end, but I think he realized that there's no way he could ever push this back. No castles, and it was just going to fall apart further and further from here. So, just painful. Painful for Ganji. Again, reminder, he does have one more round after this, which will be against Kingston. It'll be an interesting series this week. This is the final round for Miguel. If he doesn't win the next game, he's relegated. He has to still win this next game. Can he clutch it? We'll see. Also, someone said he just resigned with imp level resources. Not really. He had those units in queue. When someone resigns, all their resources unqueue and go into their bank for the resigned player. It doesn't happen for the player who didn't resign. So that might look exciting, but he was at 0 resources with units in queue when he resigned. So it's not quite that simple. And still he had the same problem. He knew those units wouldn't have necessarily changed the situation there. Great game from Miguel. Japanese versus Byzantines, as we expected. And man, this is incredible. Like, let's say Miguel wins. We then need to look at the results that he needs other people to have. I think then he would need to have Ganji beat Kingston. I think that's it. So he plays against Ganji now, but he would almost need Ganji to smash Kingston so Kingston couldn't catch Miguel in their final rounds. But yeah, it's crazy. And obviously getting 3-0'd here doesn't make you feel too good if you're Ganji, because then you go into your final round with only 5 wins and up against a very motivated Kingston. So again, Ganji playing as the Byzantines. I like Byzantines a lot because of all the vision they get and defensive tools that they have. Japanese seem like a civ that's well designed for pressure and defense on this map. And one of the few civs that could execute really solid man-at-arm timing. And they have some solid fishing bonuses. And this is a map that Miguel has played many times. I think Miguel is a lot more comfortable on this map than Ganji. I, of course, have watched Miguel in tournaments way more frequently than Ganji, though, so I don't really know his comfort level on this. But he never really picks it. I think any map with water, Ganji's not going to be quite as strong. Miguel has beaten Kingston already, so surely he wants Ganji to lose to Kingston, so he beats Ganji in the head-to-head result. Well, remember, Ganji has 2 round... Wait. I don't know. I have to look at it. Yeah, I guess you'd want to go for like a 3-way tiebreak. I don't know. I guess a lot of it, it's very complicated. We'll have to look at the data, and it's hard for me to really do that while also casting the game. But the point is you have to control what you can control, right? And Miguel just has to get this win. Otherwise, none of this stuff is really a conversation. Like if he ends up losing this game, Ganji he's definitely not going to be relegated. I think he's pretty much safe from that. But remember, Ganji, there's hopes that he could be promoted. Sorry, not promoted. You can't go above platinum. There's hopes that he could go to the playoffs and be in the top 3 conversation. So, and here goes Ganji. So he's going to dock the south. And if you were to scout Miguel's TC, let's say, in Ganji's position, you would know this is where Miguel's going to dock. But I think there's going to be a bit of confusion for Miguel. Obviously, he's checking the pond first. But Ganji's actually gone to the dock position that seems a bit further away, which could actually make it a little bit easier for Miguel to access if he wants to do that, because it's just a pretty straight shot down to the south there. But yeah, this is a good way to find your opponent on this map. At this stage, they should have a dock, so just scout the shoreline. Let's see that. Your stream helped me win ranked matches in this map with Japanese. For that, I thank you. Nice. Yeah, Japanese are great. And okay, now Miguel's thinking, all right, his TC must be around here. I still think he's a little confused. Wait, no, he's waiting to deny the dock. I think for a moment there that crossed his mind. That my opponent doesn't have a dock yet. Let's wait for the villager. Yeah, because normally you'd always dock the closest pond. And now he's double checking, like, where's his dock? And there's some confusion here for Miguel. It's not the end of the world, right? But he will need to confirm it, figure that out, and then adapt from there. Ganji's been fishing this whole time. Miguel should know that there's no way Ganji goes without a dock, so it's probably on the other side. And Miguel will see the main gold too, so he sees these 2 gold spots. Really good spots to deny later on. And just getting more and more information on where that TC would be. Normally the TC is going to be around here. So. Has viewer count gone down since leaving Twitch? And if so, does Facebook compensate for that? I don't get direct like compensation like, you're down 87%, so we give you 87% more. It doesn't work like that, right? They offered me a contract that was too good to say no to. And the viewership has dropped significantly, yes. The viewership's been better than I expected. The whole experience has been slightly above what I had gone into expecting it would be. Obviously, it's very hard to know. And I've fallen into a sweet spot with it. The biggest thing for me is I was always worried there'd be regret on my part in terms of the decision. I think I could have handled certain aspects of it differently, but the decision itself was I have no regrets. But yeah, viewership has definitely gone down, but viewership has been really solid, particularly the last few months as more people have come over, whether they're new to my streams in general or just are like, you know what, I kind of missed that content. But you got a barracks in the middle of the map for Miguel. Did he scout the pond? He did. Look at this aggression, man. Oh, man, this is like, does Ganji have any vision on this? This is interesting. So we've had various instances in this game where someone's looking for something that's normally there. And the something that's normally here is a barracks. So Ganji's like, oh, I don't need the wall because there's not going to be man-at-arms. Well, wait a second. He sees the barracks now. He sees the range. He does not see the militia yet. The downside of making the militia now is just the fact that, and that's an interesting tower here from Ganji. The downside now is that you don't have them at the time that you would normally want to have them. Miguel would be disappointed in losing a villager here, but it'd be even worse for Ganji if he goes in here and then loses his scout because of the pressure. Villager to the north, important to note, and villager here, important to note. Oh, man. Ganji was found by Miguel, so Miguel's going to make a fire galley here. Byzantine fires are superior, but Japanese fishing ships are floating tanks. They just don't die. Look at these walls. See, when you go for this approach, guys, the dock approach, you can't afford a barracks and a range as well. However, if you are in Miguel's shoes, you need to make sure that the barracks and the range actually pays off, because it's going to be 2 docks on your fish from Ganji. And again, as we said, Miguel was winning this fight originally. Look at the Byzantines catch up. See that? Oh! That's not... Oh my goodness, that is crazy. If Ganji could repair that, he might certainly kill the fish. This is so scrappy, so messy. The man-at-arms and now the archer are looping around here. Miguel's doing the right thing. Doink! He's trying to get a tower down because his opponent has preemptively towered. Miguel loses scout, but he's killed the villager. But he gets the tower up to deny the gold for now. Ganji, I don't think you need to play any games. I think you just run here and try and take that gold. Maybe. And again, can you do that if there's archers and man-at-arms? This is wild, man. This is such a scrappy game. It's so hard to play this map when it turns into this. Both players are in a position where they have to minimize damage and defend with less. So Miguel has to minimize damage and defend with 1 dock. And then Ganji has to minimize damage and defend with no ranged units. Miguel, I think he's happy that he's denied the gold for now. He's happy he's got some ranged units. But he's going to lose this pond, which makes it all the more important that Ganji actually finds Miguel over here. And if you were to look, he's going to see a villager. And I believe he has actually noticed this. Yes. So Miguel's adding fish to recuperate the losses there. Ganji going to wall it. I think Ganji misclicked. Ooh. Miguel noticed! Miguel noticed, but Ganji's bringing the scouts! And obviously they're both probably going to make Navy up there, but Ganji can't do that because he doesn't have gold. This is crazy. Ganji not having gold is horrible here. But he has run down here to just now get the gold. He is on stone for some towers. He's dropping some houses too. This is a really good game. Ganji has more kills, but Miguel has so much potential right now with the man-at-arms and the archers. So I think in this position, if you're Ganji, adding fishing ships is obviously great, but you're at a point now where you actually need wood, and I think you need to spend wood on a barracks and get an archer range up of your own. It might look bad for Miguel right now with the KD, but the fact that he can just always compete on water and then he can always fish is important. And he actually, this galley, yeah, he canceled that. He wanted to fire. Good job from Miguel. Miguel doesn't have stone, by the way, to make another tower. He hasn't been mining that. He's been on his berries, something Ganji has not been doing. Let's actually check food collected. And resources in general, you have Miguel way ahead right now, which is pretty telling considering the stats and considering the lack of fishing ships, right? I think we might see Ganji actually make an outpost over here or just some houses just to see. Miguel's been fishing. Miguel now sees that Ganji's taking this pond, so he's going to make fire galleys ahead of time. So he's kind of winning the north battle. He's winning the land battle, and Miguel he's in a nice position. He can't really be damaged that much. And it becomes much easier game for him to play. Like, he's going to kill this villager now. But kind of funny moment here. If Miguel's not making houses, this gets really bad for him soon. He's already going to get pop capped, guys. But then he's going to lose 2 houses on that shoreline. Which is horrible. That's like quadruple housed. Yep, he's housed. He heard the noise. And now he makes this house, but that doesn't even get him out of the negative. Oh, he's so housed. And he probably won't realize how bad it is either. So he just made 1 house. You're still housed, bro. You still can't produce. You're still housed. You need houses. Okay, still looks like she's been making some houses. This guy's been making houses. Check this out. You cannot... This is so annoying. You can't damage someone with fires over top of one of their buildings or units. So for a second there, Ganji, when he was wedged in there, wasn't actually receiving any damage because of the angles. But Miguel lured him out. And Ganji's forced to drop all these towers to defend his resources. Miguel's on the way to Castle Age. No freaking way, man. If Miguel would have had, like, one of those wins against Hera, you know, if he would have won 3-0 against Kingston, if he wouldn't have got 3-0'd by Kapach and he lost 2-1, you know, if there would have been an extra win or two coming into this series, it's not quite as crazy. But to come in, know that you need a 3-0, have it be up against Ganji, who's got a win off of Hera, win off of Jordan, and this 3-0'd Kapach, who 3-0'd you, and then deliver this type of results under pressure is just wild. At great damage control from Ganji to keep himself in this. And he's desperate to go up to the next stage, but, I mean, he might even lose his market here if he's not careful. That's the weakest point in this wall now. Ganji, wow. Ganji's going to be up. I wanted to talk about Stone, so I said I just combined Ganji and Stone and made it Ganji. But, yeah, I mean, he's going to be up, and he is going to try and come back on this pond, but he actually didn't have his building, and he doesn't have the stone to be able to make a tower here, so this army could absolutely break in. Finally clicks up to Castle Age, drops a bunch of houses, and he's just defending with so little on land at the moment. Did land a very nice demo right here, I noticed, but I think the dock will go down before he can make another one. And how has he not lost more villagers here? Jeez. I don't think Miguel will be too upset. He could just upgrade his navy and defend the left side. He's going to win the northern side. So it's still 2 pawns. He's going to get Bodcanero for these archers. Look how weak these villagers are. The man-at-arms also attack faster now. Japanese hype. Let's go. And Miguel's going cav archers and he's going knights. He's going to go with crazy amount of aggression. All moves that I think are just perfect from him. And he's all building up towards the middle. He knows he has control of all of his opponent's golds right now. Because he chose to be aggressive on land, and Ganji tried to be aggressive on water. And both players had pros and cons to their situations, but I think this tower from Miguel and walling it in was just so good. And it didn't take him too long to correct his fishing economy and then shift over to the other golds as well. Oh, man, he's underneath the tower. And Ganji taps out! It's over! Miguel's still alive! And what does that mean? Oh, jeez. What does that mean? Dang. Okay, so we'll have to look at our stat sheet. We have a stat sheet with probabilities. Again, just to restate things, that's it for Miguel. Miguel has 5 wins after 5 rounds. He's done, okay? Kapach has 5 wins after 5 rounds. He's done. And Miguel loses the tiebreak to Kapach because they will have the same amount of sets won. However, Kapach had beaten Miguel. So Miguel is always going to be below Kapach in the standings. It's just a matter of, will there be 2 players below Miguel? That's kind of what he needs, I think. We'll review that. Resources in this game. Resources collective is actually fairly close. Did feel like Ganji, he wasn't going to have a lot of economy left if this continued. He might have lost, you know, this pond. It seems like he was going to. He would have lost more villagers everywhere and wouldn't really have had the army. I mean, he doesn't even have an archer ranger or a stable here. He wouldn't have been able to do anything. Great series from Miguel. This is the type of series that we knew he was capable of coming into Titans League. He just wasn't able to really pull it together consistently. Is Miguel up to 6 now, right? Oh, maybe. Wait, is Miguel on 6? I think that makes more sense. I'm so sorry. Let's look. Wait, no, I think he passed Kapach. If he passed Kapach, then the tiebreak with Kapach doesn't matter. Yeah, he was on 3 wins. Okay, so I was mistaken. So, Liquipedia hasn't updated yet. But it will be Miguel on 6. So Kapach is below Miguel. Forgive me there. And Ganji's still at 5 with 1 more round to go against Kingston. Kingston will still have to play Jordan. So this is where it gets, like, more interesting. Kingston could actually, in theory, if he 3-0s Jordan and then 3-0s Ganji, he then jumps all the way ahead, and Kingston's in 2nd place. and then Jordan's in third, Miguel's in fourth, and then Ganji and Kapoj get relegated. Dang. Okay, but yeah, this isn't updating. Liquipedia is a bunch of volunteers, and you sometimes have people actively updating it. Doesn't look like anyone's doing it right now. But Miguel is ahead of Kapoj, so what he needs for Kingston, basically Kingston or Ganji, but he needs those players to avoid hitting 6. Huh, all right. I'm trying to think. So it's 2-2 right now for Ganji in terms of the sets. Oh, no, actually it's 1-3. Yeah, I mean, tiebreak makes it so fascinating. Anyways, I hope you guys are excited for the end of Group C. Obviously, Hera's already finished. You'd expect Jordan to probably be a favorite against Kingston, but that Kingston-Ganji series could be a series where we're talking relegation. So we'll see if Kingston can bring himself back from the dead, kind of like Miguel did today.